Hello and welcome to the Strategic Thinking and Policy Implementation Training by Transit Consulting Limited. I'm excited to have you, and I hope that we're going to have a great time together. So my name is Bola Benson, and I am so passionate about helping organizations to think strategically, but more importantly, to be able to implement their strategic intent successfully. So I want to encourage you to try as much as possible to get some valuable information or reminders from this training. I know it's an online training, so I can't see you. You can't see me too. And then secondly, we're doing it in the evening, so we've all gone to work, so the probability of being tired is very high. But whatever is valuable to you, you find time for it. So I want to encourage you, first of all, get a notebook, get your pen. Why? Because when we did the pre-screening exercise, some people were not qualified because we wanted people who are already working on the job. That was our intentions from the beginning. And so that's why we're using recorded video as part of the training. So that if for any reason came late to class, something came up and they missed while the training was going on, you can go through the video again so you can bridge that gap. Secondly, we also space the training. It's Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. So that if you miss day one, you can, at your own pace, make it up the next day before day two will commence. I want you to just cultivate that discipline for these 3 days. Write. And connect it to what you are currently doing. That's how you get value from this training. So this training, as I said earlier, 3 days. And so we're going to look at strategic thinking versus operational thinking. Day two, we look at policy to action and stakeholder management. Day three, we look at measuring policy impact. What you will achieve at the end of this training, you'll be able to distinguish between strategic and operational thinking and how to apply both appropriately. You'll be able to translate policy documents into structured, actionable implementation plans, identify, map, and manage stakeholders in complex implementation environments. Lastly, design practical frameworks for measuring and reporting policy impacts. So today, we are going to start with strategic thinking versus operational thinking. So we're going to look at what is the real meaning of strategic thinking. How does it differ from operational thinking? 4 practical strategic tools. And then we have the Barn-Conning view framework and a reflection exercise you can apply immediately. And so let's start. First of all, I want you to write in your notes the difference between strategic thinking and operational thinking from your own perspective. After writing it, I now also want you to grade yourself on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being really and then 5 being what you do every time or occasionally. How often you step back from your daily routine to ask strategic questions. Because truly, that is the basic difference between strategic thinking and operational thinking. Operational thinking is just routine you do. Okay. The strategic thinking, you think about the future, what you want to achieve. So, and the major question to guide you is, are your daily activities moving your organization towards its policy goals, or are they just keeping it busy? It will help you to guide you on how you rate yourself, and then your definition of operational and strategic thinking. So what is strategic thinking? Simply seeing the whole board. It's about direction. To answer the question, where are we going and why does it matter? Where are we going? You want to be the number one hospitality. You want to be the number one in the hospitality industry in Nigeria, for example. You answer that question. Why does it matter to you? So operational thinking is about direction, is about your ultimate outcome that you want to achieve. Strategic thinking, I mean. Operational thinking, on the other hand, is about implementation, execution of whatever you have planned. So it will answer questions such as, what do we do now and how do we do it? So for example, planning how to grow youth engagement over 3 years is strategic, but organizing weekly meeting for you to grow that engagement is operational. So strategic thinking is your ability to see the bigger system, the interconnection, the long-term consequences and trade-offs, while you are still making decisions in the present. How does the activities of the human resource department connect with that of the finance department? And how does that connect to you being the number one? How is that going to help you to be the number one hospitality organization? Strategic thinking is not planning. You think first, then that thinking, you now put it into plan. So planning comes after thinking. So as a strategic thinker, you are involved in 3 levels. So you don't just say, oh, okay, operational, is every day, is routine work. So no, I'm a strategic thinker. You just, no. Because no matter how good your strategy is, if you don't cascade it down to what will be done on a regular basis, the implementation will not be successful. So strategic mindset, you ask why and what if. Those are strategic questions. Now you are talking about direction and future possibilities. How and when? Those are operational questions. That's planning and execution. And then what and who? Daily routine, daily activity questions is about what are we doing today and who is responsible for it. So as a strategic thinker, you are operating on these 3 levels. Maybe let's say strategic questions will be asked at the management level. Operational question and the middle management, and then the other staff, the task and the responsibility. So basically, strategy sets the direction, but operation will deliver the results. So both are connected. You just know which one to deploy per time. I want to go and spend my vacation in Honolulu, or I'm going to, where is that, African Eritrea. That's strategic. I'm going there, not to go and go on holiday December 2026. That's futuristic. That's strategic. But I can't just get up December 2026 and say I'm going. I have to buy tickets. I have to make reservation. Those are the operational things I need to do that will give me the results, the strategy that I have now in March 2026, that by December, I'm going to go to Eritrea for vacation. So as a strategic thinker, you are operating in these three levels, but always keep the top in view. So basically, I just put it in a table to just make it simpler. Both are necessary, but they answer very different questions. They both are necessary. Both are talking about asking different questions, but they are necessary. So you will have challenges if you go and now apply operational thinking to strategic problems, or vice versa. Strategy, why and what if. Operation, how and when. Your focus, strategic thinking, you focus on direction and outcomes. Operational, delivery and tasks is routine. But the routine is key. Strategic thinking will help you to handle uncertain things. The operational thinking is just, you prefer let things be certain. But we know that things are not certain always. So it's to balance the two as a strategic thinker. Time frame. Strategic thinking looks outward and forward. Outward. What is going on in account? How does it affect my department in procurement? And how does it contribute to us striving to be the number one in the hospitality industry? Operational thinking looks inward and immediate. We must produce 1,000 bottle water today. Strategic thinking is concerned with priorities and trade-off. Anytime you prioritize something, you trade off something for that. While operational, just activities and timeline. So please don't apply operational thinking to strategic problem. So let's look at a case study between strategic thinking and operational thinking. Remember, I said that we must connect both of them. You need both of them. But you don't do both of them at the same time. Well, you don't apply both of them to all problems, rather. The key is to know the thinking to apply to every situation. So let's look at this case study and how to connect them. You must connect both of them. So Nigerian Economy Recovery and Growth Plan 2017 to 2020. Strategic intent, very good. Let's not depend only on oil. Let's diversify the economy. Let's grow our own food. So we have enough food to eat. We won't be importing. Let's compete with other countries, national competitiveness. So the strategy was clear, very good. Clear direction, ambitious target, strong policy logic. But let's now look at the operational thinking, the implementation breakdown, because this strategy was not successful. This policy was not successful. Why? Because the operation was disconnected from the strategy. So the line officers in many ministries, departments, and agencies, they continue doing their everyday work the way they have been doing it before. They still use old budgets, follow old processes, did their work without thinking about the big plan, the strategic intent. Why? Is it their fault? To a large extent, no, because there was no connection between the strategic intent and the operations. The policy was just on paper. They were aware of it. And so, as a strategic thinker and as a policy professional, it's not enough to have good policy. The operations activities must always reflect what you want to achieve. Imagine if these line officers, the operational people, the information they are said that, okay, this is what we want to achieve after putting it on paper. This is at this point, this thing is 3 years. And so at 3 months, at 6 months, at this is what we should do. This is what we should do. So we cannot follow procurement circles like before, that it will take over 1 year for you to get approval. What do we need to adjust? That wasn't done. And that's why the implementation was not successful the way it should be. So as a policy maker, as a policy professional, you must always have this in mind. Once there's a disconnect between your strategic intent and the operational thinking, the implementation will not be successful. A strategy will only work when daily action reflects it. Please have that in the back of your mind always. So we are going to look at strategic thinking framework. 4 tools that every policy professional must master. If you want to be outstanding as a policy professional and as a strategic thinker, you have to master this. System thinking, systems thinking, scenario planning, 5 strategic questions that you must ask to help you to guide your decision making, urgent versus important framework, or matrix rather. So let's look at the first framework. Systems thinking. Nothing in policy exists in isolation. Things are connected. So system thinking asks the question, what else moves when we pull this lever? When we implement this policy, what are the things that will happen because of it, as a result of it? So you must anticipate some unintended consequences and plan for them. System thinking means seeing how everything is connected. Instead of looking at one problem in isolation, your role in isolation, your department in isolation, you ask, how do these parts affect each other? So let's look at this example, free school feeding program. What was the policy intent? To improve school enrollment, to take out of school students, take them off the street and come and educate them. And when it was implemented, there was immediate win. Enrollment rises. But some intended consequences now showed up. Unintended one, the teacher pupils ratios worsen. So you now have a teacher who used to have 20 in his or her class before having 50, and there are 20 seats there. Unintended too, learning outcomes decline. How can they learn in that kind of environment? Teacher is overwhelmed. Some of the people were sitting on the floor. Unintended 3, parents now see school as feeding station, not education. So even the ones that are not of age, they will still carry them there. So what's the key takeaway for us from here? The policy achieved its target. What was that target? Improve school enrollment. But the purpose was undermined. The purpose was to get those children off the street and get them educated. That purpose was undermined by this unintended. So a systems thinker will have mapped these connections before implementation. So they make provision for it. School enrollment is going to increase. So we need to, if we are going to add five chairs to the class, well, at what point do we cut off the pupils coming? What are the parameters we are going to use to make sure the class is not overwhelming for the teacher? Even parents who their children are going to school before, they will go and remove them from the school and now bring them to where they know there's free feeding. Maybe some have been going to private school, they will go and remove them and say, our government is feeding, let us take them there. So I want you to name one policy intervention in your office, in your organization, in your sector, where an unintended consequences was not anticipated. Then you just write it in 2 sentences. Framework 2, scenario planning. This is about preparing for different possible futures. Instead of planning or relying on one plan, you ask, what if things change? And get ready for multiple outcomes. So you prepare for multiple futures, not just the expected one. So, however, scenario planning does not predict the future. It prepares you for several possible futures. It's not being pessimistic. It's just to help you to prepare. So you have things like best case scenario. Oh, we have 100% of the funding secure. Political will in team. Full stakeholder cooperation. So there's increase in budget. If there's increase in budget, what do? We expand the projects. Most likely scenario. Oh, partial cooperation from the stakeholders. Some delays. Moderate resource constraint. Our budget, in case our budget remains the same, what do? We optimize current operations. Worst case scenario, a challenging scenario. Oh, let's assume budget cuts, staff turnover, and political transition in the process of implementation. So budget, okay, budget cuts. Okay, we reduce costs and then we focus on essentials. Crisis scenario. COVID-19, external shock, pandemic, conflict, economic collapse, which will disrupt everything. So our funding, in case our funding suddenly just stops or drop drastically, maybe you have 50 to 80% budget cuts, what do we do? Is survivor, we just implement survivor action. So a key takeaway, for example, a rural program designed in 2019 without a pandemic scenario had no contingency when COVID-19 arrived. So scenario planning, like I said earlier, is not being pessimistic. It's preparedness. Framework 3, the 5 strategic questions. A framework for every major policy decision, please, as a policy professional. What outcome are we ultimately trying to achieve? This will clarify your purpose over just doing activities. What do we know and what do we not know? So surface assumption and evidence gap. Think about it. Who benefits and who bears the cost? So for example, that feeding program, government is going to bear the cost and then the out of school children will benefit. What are we choosing not to do by doing this? That one will force you to prioritize. We have 50 million. We have 2 budgets. 2 projects. One is 38, one is 20. After analyzing it, the one of 28 is very important. And so we do that. By doing that, by prioritizing that, it means the one of the 20 million will have to wait. How will we know if it is working? So right from the beginning, when you are planning it, from the start, the policy or your strategic intent, you put criteria in place for measurement. So I want you to apply these 5 questions to a policy in your current work. Write your answer in your notes. Framework 4, urgent versus important. Where does your strategic work actually live? Where does it live? Now, this is to help you prioritize. Urgent tasks, activities, they need your attention now. The important tasks are what truly drive long-term results, and that is the strategic part. Now we have the urgent and important. Crisis management, deadlines, pressing problems. You need to attend to them. You do them first. That's why they are like the operational things. Then we have not urgent, but very important. Strategic planning, relationship building, capacity development. You can schedule them. Every Monday, we'll do strategic planning meeting. We want to be number 1, so we need to start building some strategic relationships. So quarterly, we are going to do this, we are going to do that. For us to be number 1, there are some capabilities that we need to develop. Okay, this person will go for this training. Okay, we'll be doing in-house training. So you can schedule those ones. This is where your strategy lives. It's not calling for your attention, urgent, but very, very important. And then you have the urgent that are not important. Interruptions, some meetings, some reports. You can delegate them. Let AI help you do some of them. Let your subordinate help you do some of them. Send your subordinate to go and represent you in a meeting if you have to do strategic thing. And they're not urgent, not important, busy work. You just have to complete it. It's routine. Time wasters, irrelevant requests, eliminate them. Now, the problem is most policy professionals are trapped in the top left, urgent and important. Meanwhile, strategic work lives in the top right, not urgent, but important. So you must know how to spend your time, what to do at time. So let's look at the bad calling view. You go on the balcony versus being on the dance floor. Being on the dance floor basically just means you are in the middle of the activities, handling tasks, solving problems, and responding to what is happening now. Your focus is on doing. That's operational. It's operational thinking. Going to the balcony is stepping back to observe. Stepping back to observe. You look at the bigger picture. You notice pattern. You ask deeper questions like, what really is going on? Or why are we stuck? Now, when you are there, your focus is on leading outcome. What are we supposed to do? You can see all the departments, you can see some patterns. But when you're on the dance floor, you can't see further. So you are basically stepping back to move forward better. So as a leader, especially a strategic thinker and policy implementer, you move between both, being on the dance floor and then climbing up to the balcony. Operation and strategy. You move between both. You act when needed, but you also step back to think, reflect, and adjust your direction. So in your current role, what do you see from the balcony that is invisible from the dance floor? Write it in 3 sentences. So that's what will help you. If you're not careful, you get trapped in the daily activity, and that won't give you your long-term results. So you need to know when to act and when to step back, to think, to reflect, and to adjust so that you still achieve your strategic goal. Think about this. Let's reflect on it for 2 minutes. In your current role, what percentage of your week is spent on strategic thinking versus operational activities? And what does that tell you? Write honest answer or answers. Just write your honest answer. I think the answer is on there. It will tell you whether you are being strategic or you're an operational person. So, what do we want you to carry into your work starting from today? From this training, the 1 key takeaways. Number 1, both types of thinking matter. Strategic and operational thinking are not opponents. They are interconnected, but they answer very different questions. So you must know which one the moment requires. That's very key. Number 2, most failures are thinking failure. They are thinking failure. Implementation breakdowns are really caused by lack of resources. It's a thinking gap. That economy recovery was a thinking gap problem. Good strategic intent. But the people, the strategic thinker didn't think that, no, the operational people must understand what we want done daily, weekly, monthly for us to achieve this. They just gave it to them on paper. Maybe they will have a meeting, okay, this is what we are doing. Nobody's asking any question. Where are we? Nobody's measuring it. Nobody is checking. Is it working after 90 days, after 180, 1 year? Where are we? Nobody. They just continue with their normal routine. Number 3, you now have the tools. System thinking, scenario planning, the 5 strategic questions, and the urgent and important matters, which are immediately applicable. Since you don't need budget, you don't need any money, what you have written in your note, if you sit down and honestly look at it, it will help you do something differently in your present world. Number 4, the discipline to step back, to think, to reflect, and to adjust. Because strategic thinking does not happen by accident. It requires protected time. You set time apart, structure questions, and the courage to challenge your own assumptions. If you apply this, even though if it's a reminder, there are certain things that we know that we have not been doing. So this may just be a reminder, or it may just be something that you are learning for the first time. Try to apply it. So we have come to the end of day 1 lecture, because we are still going to interact in the WhatsApp group. So your homework, and this is going to be your case study for this training. So write one paragraph, identifying a policy or program in your organization where the gap between strategic intent and operational reality is most visible. I want you to be specific. Name the policy, describe the gap, bring this to day 2 as your personal working case study. Please be honest. Let it be a real example. Thank you very much for your time. See you shortly in the group.